What's going on, everyone? It's Marco Hanna, and yes, finally we are here. It is the end of this 1 million day long challenge of the Motorola built Google Nexus 6. And we're actually just going to be talking about one single thing here. We're talking about, is this damn phone worth the humongous price tag with all of its issues? But you gotta still think it's a flagship of a phone that has great specs, the best software, and it has a pretty good, attractive design that it's really hard to beat this thing because it's such a good phone. So welcome to the Nexus 6 challenge conclusion. Is this thing worth it? Well, let's find out. So this whole thing kind of starts out with the awe factor of the Nexus 6. When I first got this phone, I was really amazed by how, one, big it is, and two, how fast and fluid it is. It's super fast, it's super fluid, it runs amazing software. I was really impressed by Android Lollipop running on the Nexus 6 because it was a lot more fluid than, say, the Android L developer preview that I was running on my Nexus 5, and it just seemed like a very amazing package. It had great software, the hardware was fantastic, I didn't really run into problems in terms of lagging. There's only a couple bugs, and that's pretty understandable with new software, but to me, they weren't really hardware related because the hardware was pretty damn good. But then you gotta think about a couple days later, I actually got to use this phone as my daily driver, and then I started picking up on the bad things, like battery life, like the camera, like things that really annoy me, like how big this phone is and how top heavy it is. Those kind of things are, while not that major, except battery life is a major issue, those things really didn't disappoint me in terms of me liking the Nexus 6. But again, you gotta think about the battery life, it wasn't that good, and I just was really irritated that my phone kept dying in a very short amount of time. But then Google released more software updates. We got 5.0.1, and that was marginally better than 5.0. There was less crashes in the applications, definitely more improvements to all the Google applications, and then more third-party applications actually started updating their apps to work really well with Android 5.0 Lollipop. And then we also got 5.0.2, which is the latest installment of Android Lollipop, and it's even better and better than 5.0.1 and much better than 5.0. But here's the strange thing that I found using the Nexus 6. Even though I knew the battery life wasn't very good, even though I knew the camera was halfway decent, I kept using the phone as my daily driver. One, because I was actually doing a 30-day challenge on Phone Dog, which isn't really 30 days anymore to me anyway, for some reason, I don't know why. But it's because I just thoroughly enjoyed using the Nexus 6. It's really large, I like the display, I like to watch a lot of videos and content. That's probably why my battery life is worse than average. I say the average around 3.5 to 4 hours, but I just really thoroughly enjoyed using the Nexus 6. Now today I finally get to pop out my SIM card and use something else, and I'm sorry to say, Android fans, I am going to be taking out my SIM card and I'm going to put it back into my iPhone 6 just because I kind of missed that thing. And then Apple just announced an Apple Watch event, so I'm kind of getting pumped up about that. So, would I recommend the Nexus 6 to anyone who wants to buy a Google Motorola Nexus 6? Well, the short answer is not at retail price. Maybe if it was like 400, 500 bucks, but that means buy a Moto X. So if you want a really good phone that is running almost stock Android, well, just actually is running stock Android, and you want a amazing battery life, buy the Pure Edition of Moto X because it's such a good phone. It runs Android 5.0.2 now, and it's 500 bucks. If you want a big phone with a Quad HD display, which really has no purpose in my opinion, then go ahead and buy the Nexus 6. I can't not recommend this phone because it's such a good phone, but if you want to go ahead and shell out all this money, you will be disappointed by the battery life. And that's just saying because so far they haven't actually addressed the battery life issue, and it's still here. So again, make sure to leave me some comments below. Don't get mad at me because I'm going back to an iPhone. I still love Android, but I just need to go back to an iPhone for just a little bit because this thing is too big for me and I'm just looking for a phone that fits in my hand really well. So there we go. I do not recommend the Nexus 6. I do, however, recommend the Moto X Pure Edition for 2nd generation because it's smaller, it's to my eye better looking, and you can customize the hell out of it and make it look really cool. So again, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave me some comments below. Make sure to thumbs up this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.